Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Let me show you something.
Good morning.
You mean you don't trust the police?
Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Thursday, March 9th, 2023, and it is Thankful Thursdays. I'm thankful for each of you that are tuning in this morning. I'm thankful for the folks that are tuning in for the first time on Twitter, the network and support team of impacted families, and also those that loved and knew Justin Root. We're going to have his family come in a second, and also a close friend of the family, I believe, to talk about. We're still having the conversation about ending qualified immunity. This is a conversation that's kind of been going on before George Floyd, but definitely more heightened, and a lot of action across the country and also in Massachusetts post George Floyd's death. However, we're not fully there yet. And so these two, it's Women's History Month, and these two wonderful women are going to come in and tell us about an event they're having on Saturday. I was in the background trying to reframe the graphics so I can put it up on the screen, but as long as you get the information, that's all that counts. And so without further ado, I would like to introduce to the Java family two women who are out here making movements to bring about equality around policing and ending qualified immunity. And so I would like to first introduce Jennifer Root Bannon, and then also Anne Marie Grant, who are part of Impacted Families, and they're going to tell you their associations and about themselves. But Jen, if you don't mind, I'm sorry, Jennifer, if you don't mind, say good morning to everyone. Anne Marie will as well. We'll talk a little bit about Justin, and then just your journey on this path to really pushing what a lot of people have been behind for some years around ending qualified immunity. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Jimmy. Just want to say that this is Thankful Thursday, and we are definitely thankful that you have us on your show and that you're giving us this platform, one, to share about other impacted families joining us on Saturday at the event at the Boston Common.
And also, you're going right to the work. You greet the folks, say good morning, and I appreciate that. I definitely do. And we're going to talk about that. But see, right, she went right to the work. But say good morning to the folks, and we'll also have Anne Marie say good morning as well.
Good morning to everyone who's listening. My name is Jennifer, and I am Justin Root's sister. My brother was killed in 2020 by 5 Boston police officers and 1 Massachusetts state trooper. And Anne Marie and I formed Impacted Families so that we could have a coalition of people who, 1, support change, and 2, to support the families, because it's a horrific journey.
Absolutely. And I know a lot of people that are dealing with it. And I just want to name also, though, you know, in situations like this, the disproportionate impact are on folks that, you know, look like me and on the spectrum of melanin. But when it comes to brutality and this qualified immunity, though that disproportionate impact, that does not necessarily, I was getting ready to say not necessarily see color, but that's a whole nother conversation. But across the board as humans, it is not right for anyone to take someone's life. And especially when you are there to protect and serve. And so we won't get too deep yet. And we want to hear just a little bit more about Justin, where you're comfortable. But Anne Marie, please greet the audience and say hello as well.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Anne Marie Grant, and I am an impacted sister as well. My brother Thomas Purdy was murdered by Reno Police in Washoe County Sheriff's Office in 2015. I grew up and have been born and raised in Massachusetts, just like my brother. He was on a vacation in the state of Nevada when he had a mental health crisis at a casino, was hogtied by the police for over 40 minutes and then asphyxiated at the jail while still hogtied. And the way that Jen and I connected is when I first became impacted, it was a really lonely road. There's no manual when the police kill your loved one. And so someone had reached out to me and I saw how empowering that was for me to connect with other families. So when I saw on the news that Justin was killed, I reached out, to Jen to send my support and offer any help that I could. And we made a strong connection due to our shared tragedy. And we've been on the path ever since, trying to make changes together.
Anne Marie and Jennifer, it's so interesting because a lot of bonds and a lot of action often happen out of situations like this, homicides, recently, everything that happened with COVID. And so I just, again, it's Women's History Month, and just want to name you among others and legislators and moms that have dealt with this nationally and also locally as well. Jennifer, tell us about Justin. And I want to be very clear. It's not Justin. It's Justin. Tell us about.
Yes. So Justin would add an E to the end of his name, making it just one. And so he would say that we are just one. And so I'm here, we're here to carry that message forward. One world, one people. He was very poetic. He made his own music, which you can check out at justdonroot.com. He lit up the room. He was funny. You knew when he came in the room. My kids loved him. We miss him tremendously.
And Anne Marie, that bond that you two came together, how long ago did you two meet?
It was right after Justin was killed in 2020 when I reached out to Jen.
In 2020. So with all that was going on in the world, I purposely did not read the bio because often the organic space and just to have you guys naturally, tell your story. And so we move in a mental health space here. And I know both of you have said we're not going to focus on our individual situations, but I just wanted to name that it is definitely apparent around the impact of this, anybody dealing with this. So we just want to name that and support you. I have a whole bunch of mothers that are a huge part of my audience. And so mothers, go in and put those hearts and praying hands up. So when they go and look after, they see the level of support that they have here in the Java Cafe. So thank both of you. We're here mainly though, I know you guys have not a whole lot of time, but we're mainly here to talk about the action that you all have taken. I've asked the mayor before around violence, how are you taking that pain and moving it into action? You all have taken this pain like many others and you're moving it into action. Tell us about Saturday, Jennifer. What's going on at the State House? What other, tell us about other impacted families that are coming.
So we are meeting with other impacted families in collaboration with PSL Boston this Saturday at 2 p.m. At the Massachusetts State House, directly across from the State House. We'll be there. We're going to have 7 to 10 families who are each going to share their loved ones' stories, and then it's going to be followed by a march. Then we'll be back to the State House, and we will be joined by the co-founders of Ben & Jerry's, who also co-founded the campaign to end qualified immunity. They will speak, and then they're going to be serving up free ice cream. This is an opportunity for everyone to come out, also just to get educated about what's happening here in our state. Many times there's not a lot of focus on any of the victims here in Massachusetts. So that's what we're here for, to elevate those stories so that we can make change that benefits everyone.
And that's the thing that is so, I highlighted before about the disproportionate impact, but I had to really think, and I'll be very transparent. When Anne Marie and Jennifer reached out, I asked them, I said, are you working with any coalitions of color, just because of the awareness of the disproportionate impact? And then within like seconds, and we've been talking about this often, that humanity, just period, no race, creed, gender, transgender in between. And I don't say that disrespectfully. It's just not, right for someone to do that, period. And then when your job is to protect and serve. And so I really want to applaud both of you. The free ice cream is definitely good. What is the message that you're, because some legislators may be in there on Saturday, But what is the message that you're trying to bring to the State House and to the legislators? Anne Marie.
The message is that we need accountability from law enforcement. We won't have any true change. We can't hold the bad actors accountable if there is no mechanism of accountability. And qualified immunity is that barricade to civil lawsuits, which when the police kill your loved one, that's really your only form of redress is through a civil lawsuit, because 99.9% of the time the district attorney will justify the murder, that it was reasonable for the officer. What the officer did
Was reasonable.
Yes, they use that word reasonable. And it's interesting because the law is, I hate to get into another subject, but there's Graham v. Connor, which in other laws, it says a reasonable citizen, but it specifically says a reasonable officer. And to me, an officer who has extensive training compared to a citizen should be held to a much higher reasonable standard. And they aren't.
That sounds so familiar because I had Tanisha Sullivan on, NAACP, Rasan Hall, a lot of others in 2020. And that was one of the key words about how do you determine the determination of reasonable. And so, but there was a couple of things you said. The first one, it slipped my mind real quick, but when you said it's a barricade, that, I mean, go a little bit deeper there as far as it being a barricade, because that resonated so much.
So when you file a lawsuit, it's a long process to begin with, but if the judge, right at the beginning, the judge can say, hey, they have qualified immunity, it was reasonable, and you don't even then get any further information as far as records, internal affairs investigations, any type of documentation. But again, like I said, it's the only redress we have is through civil lawsuits. And as soon as qualified immunity comes into that, it's boom, case closed, and you're at a loss.
Jennifer, even more loss because you're there because I'm sorry. Jennifer, where are things with Just Don's case?
Well, first, I just want to back up because we also want our legislators here in Massachusetts, we want them to require independent investigations when officers use deadly force. What blew my mind, and I'm sorry that I didn't know sooner, is that when Just Don was killed, that they investigated themselves. And when what?
They investigated themselves.
Hey, I'm not guilty. I investigated myself. That's not transparent. It's not impartial. And that's a part of the system and process that we have to change along with ending qualified immunity, because those two go hand in hand with getting to the truth. Because, far too often, the one-sided self-serving narrative is told to the public, and then they vilify the victim as if to justify taking a life. I mean, you see with George Floyd, you see with Tyre Nichols, the initial narrative they put out is not what happened. The initial narrative that happened to Just Don is not what happened. And so that's why I've been out here and been very vocal and been calling for an independent investigation. I'm calling upon our Attorney General, Andrea Campbell, to appoint an independent investigation because we need that level of transparency. I mean, we can't change things if we don't know what's going on.
This is one of the pillars of this platform is awareness of information, and to also show that this, again, I can't reiterate enough, across the spectrum of folks, citizens that are dealing with this. And so that's, there was a lot of conversation toward the end of 2020 going into the legislative season around holding the line around this. And we're in another legislative season. And so with how can I say this without getting a couple of texts and emails, with folks I believe that are really going to take a real serious look at the impact of this in our constitutional officers. That is, I believe, a hope that we all share around this. So Saturday and I, as much as I was in the background laughing and telling y'all I got it done, I didn't get it done. So I'm just going to read it. But do me a favor, if one of you can type in the private chat the website anything you want me to put on screen, put in the private chat real quick, and I'll put it on the screen because sometimes folks take screenshots and we can put the graphic up. March 11th, which is Saturday, this Saturday at 2 p.m., meet Jennifer and Anne Marie and other families in front of the State House, 24 Beacon Street, Boston, Mass. Also meet the co-founders of Ben and Jerry's there. Me in the winter and ice cream, but go get some ice cream. Hopefully it'll be decent weather for folks to come out. Weather will be favorable for you all, not too warm to melt the ice cream, but come out and get some ice cream to hear from the co-founders of this project, both impacted families, and also the you said ending qualified immunity campaign is what the co-founders founded.
Yes, Ben and Jerry's co-founded the campaign to end qualified immunity.
Campaign to end qualified immunity. So come here from all four of these folks on Saturday at 2 p.m. I did tell both of them, thank you for the invitation. Originally, what got us here, I did tell both of them I was not able to attend. I'm going to go in the chat now and get the website. And I am able to put the link. First, let's put this one for the events because this is the main thing to make sure. And you all know we do stuff in the Java Cafe in real time. We're very organic here. And so in the comments, there is the link to the event on Saturday. And then I'm also going to, this is the link to the Facebook page where you can get more information about the event. Let me get that one up as well. Anne-Marie got them coming in here. And Jennifer has one too. And this is tell me about this is the petition. Okay. There's also a petition here. So we often talk about action, and it is very easy here to click this last link and go look at the petition. You're signing your name, so read it, be familiar with what you're signing on to. I don't think there's anything you'll have an issue with. And you can take action right now. Even if you can't make it on Saturday, you can go sign a petition and take action right now, because this is something that we still have to be active with. And thank you to Shakia. Hey, lady, I recognize this name for some reason. There it is right there on the screen, 2 to 4 p.m. Qualified immunity across the board. We need to have this. And I just really want to thank, and Shakia said also join the moms and dress warm. Is there anything that you guys wanted to mention and communicate to the audience besides the petition, besides Saturday, besides the importance of every time they hear about this to take the action and support it? Did we miss anything, Anne-Marie?
I just want to say that we talk a lot about policies and laws, but we aren't talking about the people that qualified immunity affects. It's our neighbors, it's our community, it's people who end up having their constitutional rights egregiously violated, and ultimately they or their family have no recourse. And though, ending qualified immunity just doesn't assist families who have lost a loved one to police. It benefits everybody as a whole.
It raises the bar for the potential of somebody being a rogue out there, because that's the other thing you said, the bad apples, because I'm not out here capping for law enforcement, but the majority protect and serve. And so you have these, that was the thing that you said earlier that resonated with me right before you said the barrier. You preached a little bit this morning. But that's the thing we want to keep in mind as well, is a little bit just of the balance, that these are for the bad actors. You said bad actors, not apples, bad actors. And so but that few has such an alarming domino trickling impact that if the bar is raised around this, even in the worst case scenario, like both of you horribly experienced, even if it doesn't end in death, there is still a lot. And these are the cases we know about. What about the folks that were intimidated that don't want to come forward and talk about their constitution? All right, y'all done got me started this morning. I know y'all got it. So
Jimmy, we're ready to go on a roar. I just wanted to mention too that, unfortunately, it's perceived when we speak up about accountability that translates to being against police. It's actually quite the opposite. We're about accountability for everyone, including them. And it would really change the culture within their departments And so this is for everyone. And let's do the right thing. Let's save lives. Let's treat people the way that they would want their loved ones treated,
as humans,
as human beings.
And I will just name, when you said change the culture within that system, we know systems, policies and structures in many ways aren't favorable toward equity. But listen, all right.
And I just wanted to just share just a tad about, of Justin's final moments in his life. He was approached down outside his mental health center, down at Brigham's. There's 4 centers there. 60 Fenwood houses the psychiatric unit for Brigham and Women's. Yep. 75 Fenwood is, Mass Mental Health. Then we have 20 Vining, which is Mass Mental Health residential program, along with FinFen at the corner there at 58 Fenwood. So, there's a lot of people walking around there that are struggling with mental health. The fact that, my brother was approached while his back was to an officer and there was no conversation, there was no de-escalation, there was no, that's strange. He's yelling, he's with law enforcement a couple times. What happened down there, they shot 15 bullets. I'm alarmed. Without a conversation, anyway, they ended up chasing him, and he crashed in Chestnut Hill at a very high speed. He, wheels came off his car. He drops to the ground. He's limping to the sidewalk, drops on the sidewalk, and then he limps to the mulch area. And thankfully, there was a former EMT who just happened to be in her car. She ran to go help him while he was on the ground, covered in blood, because he had lost 2,000 cc's approximately in his car. He's on the ground. She has her hand on his shoulder. And all these officers are running with their guns and yelling for her to run. Okay. She's thinking there's something, he needs help. And I'm not going to describe what she described, but it's horrific. These officers then she ran, of course. She didn't want to be killed. She ran. And then one officer kicked him. Okay. It's in his statement. And then most of them backed up and are 5, 6, 7 feet. And they unloaded 31 bullets. 31 bullets. First of all, I don't understand, if you're afraid for your life, how you are just running out in the open and ignoring your training. Usually what you do is you secure a perimeter, you take cover. That's excessive. And we're all in danger. If we allow that sort of excessive force to go unchecked, we are all in danger. I'm so thankful that no one else got killed that day. However, that the valet at Brigham and Women's, he got shot in the head by a ricochet bullet. So, and these are the things that people need to know and be aware of. And after they killed my brother, on the body-worn camera, you hear someone saying, "I killed the mother F. I emptied my magazine on him." Who says that? Who says that after they just took someone's life, claiming that they're afraid for their own life? That's just simply not true. It's inconceivable. So, this is what independent investigations are going to uncover in situations like Justin's. And that's why we're so passionate about this. We just need everyone to support independent investigations and ending qualified immunity by going to impactedfamilies.com and signing on to the petition and letting Massachusetts legislators, who don't often talk about the cases that are happening here in Massachusetts, they're talking about other cases across the country. Now it's time for them to address here in Massachusetts.
Kathy, it was earlier, I think I called Kathy Rebel, saying that there's cases and issues right here, more than what we know and what we're aware of. So
Police have killed 3 people in Massachusetts since the start of the year.
This year?
Yep, Faisal in Cambridge. There was a lady in Easton, Massachusetts, and I believe Brockton was the most recent one.
For some reason, Brockton sounds familiar. First of all, Jennifer, thank you so much for sharing that, because again, as a human, it's so not even, it's just horrible and hard to hear and not be moved into a signature, a share of a post, a like. I mean, it's minimal that what y'all can do to just help get this message out there. So
in Java with Jimmy, we are stronger together, and that's why that's our hashtag. We are stronger together.
yes, ma'am.
That's what we need to do. All come together and make these shifts and changes.
And cultural shift and a mind, not paradigm, mind shift for those that are perceived power that just, again, the bad actors, Anne-Marie, as you said. But I appreciate both of you. And I did well. We're right at 9:29, and I know you guys have work and stuff to do to get ready for Saturday, but please keep me abreast of things that you are doing. We have each other's emails. We're following now on Twitter. And shout out to my team that was in the background making this happen. And I appreciate both of you. We send strength and courage and your way. Make sure you both go and drink water after this episode, because talking about this, you know, it builds toxins. And well, I won't say what I usually tell the young people when they're dealing with trauma, but you want to flush them out. Let's, you know,
We got that message, Jimmy.
Jimmy, if we're still young in your eyes.
Listen, and I'm glad that we were able to leave with some joy and thankfulness. And so in this moment of Women's History Month and the advocacy you all are doing and thankfulness, I'm thankful for both of you women that are doing this, that are raising the bar. And Jennifer, I heard you loud and clear about the coming together.
Yes. Thank you.
Heard you. Thank both of you. I'm going to go pay a couple of bills. And I will, if you all tweet stuff out on Saturday, even from the event, I'll just sneak down and retweet it and all that. So I'll do my virtual support.
Thank you so much, Jimmy.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Absolutely. Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Bye.
Ladies
Bye.
and gentlemen, I'm going to go and still print Lord Jesus, still show the link. So this is the one to the their Facebook page. This is the one to sign the petition. And this is the one to the website. Presumably, you go to the website, you can get redirected to every one. All right. So please virtually support these folks. And Shakia, thank you for sharing the information. Pastor Marion, thank you, ladies, so much for sharing your stories. And Pastor Marion, I need to look into that because I've seen you mentioned a couple of times. So I don't know. I haven't watched CNN. Y'all might appreciate this. I don't watch CNN as much anymore. I don't know why, but anyway, Pastor Marion, the cops were cowards. Unlike you, James, I believe the majority of officers are just like the 7 cops that killed her brother. I hear you, Pastor Marion. And that's you're not alone. That's probably the majority of a lot of folks. And I heard Jennifer when she said coming together. We know, again, disproportionate impact are on Black men. But did you hear how she described what happened to her brother? That is very similar to what has happened to a lot of Black and brown men. And so when it comes to that part of it, the coming together, humanity, excessive use of force, it's a cultural thing. So I'm right now, Pastor Marion, you kind of pulling me over where you are a little bit. Listen, everyone, it's Thursday. Today is my Friday. Saturday, I'm going to go live a couple of times. One from the home buyers class that we had Eric Lindsay and Jordana on a few weeks ago. And also my sister, Wilma Faye Mathis, who is an author. She is doing her book release for working ministry to the homeless. And so I'll go live from both of those on Saturday. But as far as regular programming, we will be back with you on Monday at 9 a.m. Look out also, follow the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute. Tina Sherry has a podcast. I am her guest. We're recording it on Sunday. I don't know when it's going to come out. But look out for that. And I think that is it. Had a great time at Tufts last night. Got to talk to some up and coming civic leaders at Tufts University with Jesse Merrill and Lisa Kay, because I am not going to butcher her last name. But it was a beautiful experience being with both of those. I was sitting in the middle of both of them, and I'm like, one is a ridiculous comms expert, and one runs the playbook, worked at Politico, the Herald. I'm sitting there like, wow. So learned a lot last night. Shout out to Brother Sam that made that happen there. That's it for me, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you on Monday at 9 a.m. Peace, everybody.